We'll start with the prayers. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramarthanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Chapter 18 of the Bhagavad Gita is titled Moksha Sannyasa Yoga, and I have given an introduction to this chapter last week. This is the final chapter of the Bhagavad Gita containing 78 verses and the biggest chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Lord Krishna in this chapter teaches us how we should lead a religious lifestyle. Throughout the Gita, the Lord keeps on emphasizing for us to do our duty first, which means he wants us to be a grihastha and be spiritually inclined. That's all. He doesn't want us to leave the grihastha life. This is a common question with many seekers, whether to follow a lifestyle of sannyasa or to continue with grihastha and attain moksha. In the Vedic period, the whole society was educated in the Vedas, the whole society. And they all led a normal life, and they led, and we find many rishis also, many teachers also, grihastha teachers. King Janaka, who was a realized person, he used to run a kingdom. At the same time, he was a realized person. Ashtavakra Gita, we see that many of you may have known about the text. So such texts tell us, and Lord Krishna himself was a grihastha. Lord Rama was a grihastha. So we find that in many of the scriptures, it clearly tells us that continue your duty as a grihastha and still pursue moksha as a goal. Atma Jnanam, once you have, it only teaches us how to disidentify with our body, mind, intellect instrument. What the Lord tells us is, take this as an instrument for experiences for a short period of time. That's all. And it is possible to lead a Jivan Mukta lifestyle in spite of having the Grihastha life. So that is the main topic here. In this whole chapter, you will find a lot of tips are given. 7 factors are analyzed, which I told you last week, into Sattvic, Raja-sik, and Tamasic categories. All this analysis is to help us to lead a religious lifestyle. At the same time, follow the goal of moksha. It is possible, and people in the past have done it. Therefore, you and I can also do it. With this short introduction, I will just go straight into the verse number 1, which we wanted to take up last week. This is the broad summary of the chapter, which we discussed. 78 verses broken up into 4 topics. Sadhana Trividam, that means the 7 topics come under one heading. The second is Karma Yoga, third is Jnana Yoga, and the last is conclusion. Basically, it's a revision of whatever we have learned. Throughout the Gita, we have learned two things. What is Karma Yoga and what is Jnana Yoga? So he's going to revise this entire basically these two topics, and then he is going to give us some additional information on 7 new factors which will help us to lead a proper lifestyle. Up to verse number 1 to verse number 12, you will find Arjuna's question and Lord's answer very clearly explained, and you will find answers to Arjuna's question of what is the difference between sannyasa and tyaga. Arjuna uvacha sannyasasya mahabaho tattvamichhami veditum tyagasya cha rishikesha pratakeshina sudhana. In the first verse, Lord Krishna is called by 3 names, Sambodhana. In Hindi, we say Areyar, Like that, in Sanskrit, we have 3 names here of Lord Krishna: Mahabaho, Rishikesha, Keshini, Sudhana. Throughout the Gita, you find these names coming several times. Arjuna shows enormous gratitude and love for Lord Krishna throughout the Bhagavad Gita. The Guru and the Sishya, they have a fantastic relationship you can see in the Bhagavad Gita. So Rishikesha means master of senses, inner controller, remover of inner problems. This is the description of the word Rishikesha. That means one who has controlled his senses through his mind. Mahabaho means strong-armed. He has a capacity to solve outer problems. And Keshi Sudhana means destroyer of Asuras. Keshi, which was sent by Kamsa. This is just a historical background of what happened. If you read the Bhagavatam, you can see the stories of the background to all this. So the basic question of Arjuna is, he wants to know what is the essential nature of sannyasa and tyaga. There are 2 words which Lord Krishna has used interchangeably throughout the Gita. But in this specific chapter, he wants to know what is the difference between the 2. He wants to know what is giving up. Every time the Lord Krishna says you give up your karma, give up your, in chapter 4, we had karma sannyasa yoga, the renunciation through jnana karma sannyasa. That was the title of chapter 4, which means that through jnanam you renounce karma. That means I know that I am not a doer of action, and hence I can renounce my actions. That was jnana karma sannyasa, through knowledge. Then in chapter 5 of Gita, we discussed karma sannyasa. Karma sannyasa means actually giving up the performance of karma itself. And then we saw last time that he said you do all these karmas of, in several chapters, he said you give up your kamya karmas, selfish karmas. So we are going to analyze in detail from now till verse number 12, a full analysis of what is the meaning of sannyasa or tyaga? Shri Bhagavan uvacha kamyanam karmanam nyasam sannyasam kavayo viduhu sarva karma phala tyagam prahustyagam vichakshanaha. So what is sannyasa and tyaga is being explained now. With giving up with respect to karma, what is the karma which is mentioned or what we normally do as a duty? The duty can be of two types. One is nitya karma, another is naimitta karma. These are just two names given to two types of karmas which we do, actions which we do. Now, karma, nitya karma means, in the spiritual angle, it means chanting Gayatri, chanting Sandhya Vandanam, lighting up a lamp, simple karma. Every day you light a lamp in the evening or in the morning in your own house. These are all simple, it's called nitya karma. Nitya means you have to do it daily. Secular karmas are like going to office, doing some duty at home, doing duty in the society, doing duty for the country. These are all secular karmas. Now you cannot give up these. That is what the Lord is going to tell us. Naimittika karma means special duty. Suppose there is a marriage. You need to do the marriage of your son or daughter, or you need to attend a marriage. That is also a duty. Similarly, functions of birth ceremonies. Several such ceremonies, they come, and these are the things which we cannot give up in society. We need to continue this. Why we do this is for purification of our mind. You must always remember that there are actions which we do, so many samskaras which we are told to do, right from birth of a child, after 6 months, after 1 year, after we do thread ceremony, we do marriage, we do so many different types of rituals. All this you should know is for only one thing, which is for chitta shuddhi. That is the background of this whole topic, that I need to purify my mind. Therefore, certain rituals, I cannot give up some of those rituals. Nishiddha karma is what harms others. I need to drop that. Selfish karmas are called as kamya karma. Selfish desire for pursuit of your own pleasure and happiness. Now, this is an area where Lord Krishna spends a lot of time, and he says, this is where you have to be careful. You have to analyze what are those karmas which bring me into problems in life, which cause samsara in life. There is no choice with respect to nitya naimittika and nishiddha karma, which means we must do nitya karma, we must do naimitya karma, we must do nishiddha karma. If any of you have a problem understanding these three, you let me know at the end. You can put a question, I can answer to you. If you have a confusion in them, I have explained to you what is nitya karma, what is naimittika karma, what is nishiddha karma. Naimitya karma is special duties, special rituals. Nitya karma is what you do daily. Don't give up those. And what we need to be careful about is kamya karma. So choice exists only for kamya karma, and that must be given. Karma yoga means sannyasa of kamya karma. So when we, in chapter 3 of the Bhagavad Gita, we studied, the full chapter was devoted to Karma Yoga. And there what we were taught was Tyaga. Tyaga of what? Karma Phala Tyaga. We continue to do our actions, but we say that this action is not done by me. I am not the doer of action. There is someone else who is in this body who does this action. And whatever I get as a result of that action, I accept it as a prasad. Verse number 3. Tyajam dosha vidat yoke karma prahur manishinaha yajna dana tapak karma tatyajamiti chapare. Now he comes down to the 3 main karmas which he taught us in the last chapter. Yajna, dana, tapas. Now these are 3 purifying karmas. He's focusing now on these 3 karmas because he spent a lot of time and teaching us what is yajna, how we should do yajna, what are the 3 types of yajna, what are the 3 types of dhanam, what are the 3 types of tapas, austerity. He says, never give up these yajna, dana, tapas because they will purify the mind. For example, you can give up Darsha Purnamasa, that is a ritual for attaining Swarga. And some of these karmas, like Yajna Dana Tapa, will purify the mind. It is not going to give me Swarga, but Chitta Shuddhi. What happens in Swarga? It is only a Bhoga Loka. That means in Swarga means in heaven, I will just get a superior body to enjoy different phalams which I can't enjoy in this Bhuloka. In the Bhagavatam, you will find many, many descriptions of what happens in the heavens or in the Swarga Loka. You get fantastic food, you get very good entertainments, we get so many things which are mentioned. Description of Swarga is very beautifully mentioned. But what Lord Krishna says is that is anityam. You have to come back to this world again. After that visa is over, your punyam sends you to Swarga Loka. And then you will come back again to this same Bhuloka. How to do karma phala tyaga? That is one of the questions which Arjuna had. Lord, you have given me the strength, energy, capacity, and you have provided me the body. I offer all duties as a worship unto you. This way one gives up karma phala. See, normally we say we must have, we cannot do any action without expecting results. Here, the technique which is taught is what the seeker realizes is that there is someone who is using this body. He is not the body because the body is not him. It's very easy to understand because the body leaves after some time. So there must be somebody else in this body who is using this body. Now, if you analyze yourself, all the energy which I get every day to morning to evening to do all action, who provides that energy? There must be some factor. The body itself is not generating that energy. There is a power behind the functioning of this body. There is some superior power. And that is what throughout the Gita, we have to realize there is an external power. You call it God, you call it consciousness, you call it awareness, whatever you may call the name. But there is an external power And what we say is that, oh Lord, you have given me the strength. The strength is not mine. I have not, the strength in this body is supplied by you. The prana, the air which is going and keeping this body alive, that prana is given to us as a gift from God. Therefore, I can offer whatever actions I have. I can then say all those actions I offer to the Supreme Lord who is giving me the power. In the 11th chapter, we have also seen that Lord tells us, you be my instrument, and then you act. Then you will see the difference. So this Ishvara Arpana Buddhi and accepting the result as for Chitta Shuddhi is called as Karma Yoga. Others may praise me or others may criticize me for this attitude. Some people may not accept this. They'll say, how come he is just working whole day, but he doesn't expect much results. He just does it for duty. In many of the temples, people just work. You will find many volunteers in temples. Many people during the COVID time have come forward to help. Why? It's because they feel that there is something that is common between all of us. Something inspires them. Even Dhanam, there are certain people who give donations every month to some organization and other because they feel some commitment to the society. What is the essence of Tyaga? Giving up desire prompted action, selfish actions, results of actions, like King Janaka, is what is called as Tyaga. Giving up. Arjuna's question was, what is the meaning of giving up? Lord Krishna is saying, Tyaga is what we should be looking at as giving up desire-prompted actions. We are not talking about sannyasa here. That sannyasa is a very different term. I will explain to you as we go by. We get purity of mind and become fit for this knowledge, like Janaka. Now, Janaka had a guru called Yajnavalkya, and he was taught so many things by Yajnavalkya. But Yajnavalkya got his knowledge by sannyasa. That means there are certain people who get knowledge of the Shastra and they are eligible for it. That is what is called as sannyasa. The threefold giving up is explained from verse number 3 to 6. Bad karmas, good karmas also have got doshas, defects. Because good karmas will give us punya. And that also is a problem according to the Shastra. Because it will bring me back into the world to enjoy that punya. Papam definitely will bring me back to the different lokas. But according to the Shastra scriptures, both punyam and papam have to be ultimately given up. I don't want any of the pleasures. I don't want any pain in this world. That is what is the prayer of a seeker. I want to be with that Lord who is controlling this entire universe. So any new birth means it is experience of punyam and papam. That is why people generally say, I don't want to have any more birth in this world. Because it is a samsara cycle. It just goes on and on and on. And that is why we study the Bhagavad Gita also. In the second chapter itself, Arjuna was taught that there is a higher principle, Arjuna, which is what we call it as consciousness. And throughout the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna taught Arjuna the higher principle of jnana yoga. But while attempting that jnana yoga, we still have to perform our karmas. Therefore, we have to understand this subject matter of karma in detail. Nischayam shunu me tatra tyage bharata sattama tyago hi purusha tyagra trivida samprakirtitaha. Here, Lord Krishna, just a simple verse, it just says, there are two opinions regarding karma, yaga. One is giving up the entire action, and the second is not to give up all actions, but to do yajna dana tapa. And giving up is of three kinds, sattva, rajas, and tamas. This is an introduction verse. Later on, Lord will explain all this. This is just the verse which tells us how this chapter is going to be taken up further. Yajna dana tapa karma natyajam karyameva tat yajno danam tapaschaiva pavanani manishinam. Here again, he says, yajna dana tapas should not be given. Again and again, he keeps on telling us. So this is a lesson for all of us, that doing duty is important and we cannot give up giving up our duties. This is an important lesson we must keep in mind throughout the Bhagavad Gita. Why? Because they purify the mind, cleanse the mind of all negativities, and it brings auspiciousness in our life. So those who have studied the Bhagavad Gita, you would have got a tremendous benefit of understanding deeper aspects about your own life. So that is what we call it as, it removes the negativities to whatever extent is possible. You see, we may have, say from a level of 100, even if it comes to 90 or 80, we would have seen the difference. And it gives us two things in life. One is Viveka Shakti, another is Vairagya. Viveka Shakti will give me discrimination between right and wrong, not only in terms of the scriptures, but also in our Laukika field, in our normal day-to-day life. We will be able to come across and be clear-headed when it comes to taking certain actions in life. In the 17th chapter, Yajna was described. If you remember, just recently we completed the 17th chapter. Aphala kankshibir yajno vidhi drishto yaj ijjate yashavyameti manaha samadhaya satvikaha. There were three types of yajnas which we were learned, three types of dhanam and three types of tapaha. We learned this recently. Just to revise them, we should not give up yajna. 5 types of yajna which we learned in the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. What are the 5 types of yajnas? Yajna means worship. Deva yajna, Pitru yajna, Manushya yajna, Bhuta yajna, Brahma yajna. Deva yajna means praying to the different deities. Whatever deities you may have, doesn't matter. Either a Devi, either Rama, either Krishna, either Shiva, whatever it is, Vishnu, whatever it is. Praying to the forefathers, Pitrus, Manushya yajna. Manushya means helping the society. Wherever possible. Bhuta yajna, that means the environment. Brahma yajna, that means we study the scriptures. So continue, do without desire for the fruits. That is what is again emphasized here. Datavyamiti yaddanam diyate nupikarine deshe kale cha patre cha tadhanam satvikam smritam. I'm just taking the sattvic aspect of all this. We studied and we said gift should be given because we are the instrument to give that gift. That's all. And we have seen the factors which should govern it. It should be given at the right time, at the right place, to a right person. These are the three conditions. And the last one is what? I should not expect anything in return. If we follow this in our charity, then we are having sattvika lifestyle. Tapaha was also described at the three levels of body, speech, and mind in the last chapter. And these are the verses which talked about this, the serenity of mind which we can get, self-control which we can get by the worship of by following austerity in our speech. So how do we still live in this world, and how do we not give up this, because they give me purity, not tyajam. These type of austerity measures should not be given, because again and again we know that they will help me to understand the scriptures better. Etanyapi tu karmani sangam tyakva phalani cha kartavyani tipmaya partha nishchitam matamuttamam. Here, the Lord focuses on the fruits of actions. And he says that this is my belief. Perform action, but without expecting results. Nitya karma, naimitya karma, don't give up. Kamya karma, give up. Nishidha karma, give up. So with reference to kamya and nishidha karma, we have a choice to give up. But in terms of karma yoga, what we need to understand is that giving up desire prompted action and giving up the fruit of action is what is described by Lord Krishna as karma yoga lifestyle. So what is the summary here? The summary is do your duty and also don't give up yajna dana tapaha. Do it without kartrutva bhavana. I am doing. That is the problem of ego. And it is the Lord who is inspiring us to do actions. He is the one who is functioning as the reflected consciousness in this body. The Lord in each of us, in our body, is nothing else but the reflection of that Lord is there in us. Because the reflection is there of that power, one single power is there which controls the whole universe. And that power is there in all the bodies. I have to recognize that power. I may not be able to see it with my eyes. But Bhagavad Gita teaches me that there is this power. There is a presence of that Lord in this body. Drop the ego that I am the doer of action and see what magical transformation it can create in your life. Throughout the scriptures, one very common lesson is try to drop your ego. It will not happen overnight. It happens slowly. That is what is called as purification of the mind. Slowly, I give up the attitude that I am the doer and I say the Lord is the doer. Keep the God within us. That is what is called as Karma Yoga lifestyle. I drop my ego. I say there is a power that I am, all these actions are all going on with that power. Like the sunlight is there, in the presence of sunlight, there is Vyavahara taking place in the whole earth. There is, without the sun, there can be no activity at all on earth. And here Bhagavan gives us the foundation of Karma Yoga. What is Karma Yoga? For example, if you're eating a banana, you give up the skin and then you eat the fruit. You don't eat the banana with the skin. That is what we should do in life. We should keep Bhagavan as the central focus in our lifestyle. All actions, when we close our eyes and meditate, these are all possible because of that one power. And we are going to study in detail about who is the karta, who is the doer of actions. We are going to study that in detail in this chapter. What are the different types of actions? All that we'll study. So duty purifies and keeps us in track, and it helps us to understand the deeper purpose of our lives. There is a purpose, there is a goal. And what is the goal? To understand my spiritual nature. I am the instrument of Bhagavan, and Bhagavan is doing it through this body. That is what I was explaining to you about reflected consciousness. See, in higher text, when we study Upanishads, it gives us more details about this Atma Tattvam. In Bhagavad Gita, we get one level of our understanding. We get a different level when we study Upanishads. And then there is the third level. After the study of Bhagavad Gita and the Upanishads, your desire to experience the ultimate in this life, that grows. And when that happens, you still study further higher texts like Panchadasi, like Vichara Sagara, like other texts. So our study in spiritual science, you must understand that there are three different levels. One is Shravanam, which we do just, for example, the basic level is this Bhagavad Gita. Then the intermediate level is the Upanishads, where all doubts regarding Atma are cleared. Then the third level is Nididhyasanam, where I try to live that life as the pure Atma. And that is where this dropping of ego becomes very, very clear. Is it possible to drop the ego? Yes. Today, I may not be able to understand because my knowledge of the scriptures is limited. I have learned the Gita, but then I have to go to a higher level to understand how this ego can be dropped. It is possible. There are books available which teach us. And one of the beautiful texts is Panchadasi, which I'm taking on Wednesdays now, and I'll be taking almost 1 year this particular text, 1-2 years maybe, because it is a direct method of teaching me how to control my mind through thoughts, how to control the mind. Very beautiful text. Anyway, coming back to where we are now, situations come and responses are given by all the jivas according to the knowledge they have. The spiritual knowledge helps us in better responses in the world. Three bhavanas are there while doing action. What are the three bhavana? Bhavana means attitude. I can do an action with Ishvara Bhavana, which is what we have said, that I do all actions for Bhagwan. The second attitude, it depends on with reference to the fruit, which is prasada. It comes from Bhagwan. And the third difficult way is, the first two are fairly easy, but the third attitude is difficult. I am not the doer of action. This is difficult because you must learn who is the karta, who is the doer. That Lord is going to explain to us in the future verses. He will be explaining how to say that I am not the doer. Very beautiful verses are there in this chapter. The conclusion is, perform duty without ego, accept the result as a fruit, prasada from the Lord. Perform yajna dana tapa, mainly with the idea to purify the mind. Niyatasya tu sannyasah karmano nopapadhyate mohatasya parityagah tamasa parikirtitah. Slowly he will teach us now what is tyaga. In 7th verse, he is going to teach us tamasic tyaga, Raja-sik tyaga will follow, and then sattvic tyaga. Giving up. What is tamasic giving up? What is Raja-sik giving up? And what is sattvic giving up? As you all know, sattvic giving up is the best. But here the Lord teaches us what is the tamasic, because this is what we should get rid of. Giving up because of delusion, giving up your duty, giving up yajna dana tapa because you feel that they are not to be done. That is what is called as tamasic giving up. You give up your duty to the family because it is very difficult to do, because you're too bored. Now, that giving up is tamasic. That is what is emphasized in this particular verse. Performance of duty gives discipline to our mind and life in general. Gives us chitta shuddhi, will generate desire for liberation. When I continue to do my duty continuously, my mind will be calm. My mind, when it is calm, it will ask me the question, who am I? This is how it follows. This is how the mind works. Therefore, performance of duty is compulsory. Out of delusion, Arjuna wanted to give up his duty and run away from the battlefield in the 2nd chapter. He forgot that he was a soldier and he had a duty to fight for dharma. But attachment overpowered him. Sangha. A policeman refuses to arrest his criminal son. That is because of attachment. If he does that, that is what is called as adharma. Teacher, mother in school does not correct her son's behavior in school. Again, adharma. Delusion is a cause of tamas. Anytime we are confused, you must take a back seat, one step back, and realize that there is some problem with my thinking process. Out of delusion, giving up duty is the worst form of giving up. It is tamasic renunciation. See how Lord Krishna teaches us very systematically. There is a structure in all these verses. There is a structured way of teaching us how to live life. Sattva, rajas, tamas, sattva, rajas, tamas. 16th chapter, 17th chapter, 18th chapter. 16th chapter told us all about the Asuric Sampat and Daivi Sampat. Then the 17th chapter told us about 5 factors, 6 factors there, 7 factors here. Dukkhametyeva yat karma karya klesha bhaya tyajet sakritva rajasam tyagam naiva tyaga phalam labet. So some people, they give up. Now this verse talks about Raja-sik sacrifice, or giving up duty because it is painful, brings sorrow. Therefore, I will give up. Suppose my mother is suffering and I don't go because it's very painful for me. That is called as Raja-sik yaga. My friend is suffering. I don't visit him because I'm involved in something else, and it's, to drop whatever I am doing and then I'm going, that is painful. You see, this is what is called as Raja-sik yaga. What is Sattvic yaga? Drop because your friend is in trouble, therefore go and help him. I want to be relaxed and peaceful. That is why selfishness is there. Because of selfishness, you give up your duty. Having fear that it will cause pain to me, it is just a fear in the mind, that's all. It is called as Raja-sik giving up. Result of Rajas will always be dukkham, because you will repent for it after some time. Oh, I wish I had gone to help him. This can happen in the society. You see, this is a very, very common thing which happens in our lives. Many times we don't know what is right, what is wrong. Here, Lord Krishna is teaching us that if such a thing happens in your life, remember this verse. It is, I am being selfish and I'm not doing my duty. These verses, they help us to clear my thoughts. Sattvic yaga. Karyametyeva yat karma niyatam kriyate arjuna sangam tyaktva phalam chaiva satyaga satviko matah. Now he tells us what is obligatory action, compulsory action, which should not be given up. Daily duty, which we have discussed, nitya karma, naimitya karma. Now in what attitude do I do this? As a thanksgiving to Bhagavan. Oh, Bhagavan, you have given me so much in life. I do my daily duty because I have got more than what I have, what I need. So I do my duty because I have fulfillment in life. I get more fulfilled in life. When I do charity, I get more fulfilled. When I do my normal duty itself, I feel very happy, like lighting up a lamp every day. At the end of it, you feel, oh, I've done. I feel happy because why we do all this is, you see, we are all ultimately seeking happiness in life and peace in life. Understand this one goal of all of us throughout our life, not today. Tomorrow, I want to be happy when I get up. I want to be peaceful. Day after tomorrow, I want to be happy and I want to be peaceful. 1 month later, I want to be happy and peaceful. This requirement of the human mind is universal. It never leaves us. That is the need. Morning to evening, we live a life, but at the end of the day, we want to say, was I happy today? Was I peaceful? If your mind was peaceful today, you will say, I had a good day. If you felt that you had happiness because you helped somebody, it gave you happiness. Before you did your simple duty, very, very simple duties. If you do, you will find that the mind is peaceful. That is why here nitya karma, naimitya karma, these two things. Never forget. These are lessons for us to lead our day-to-day life. And why we need to do this is because we are looking for higher happiness, higher fulfillment in life. And for that, we need to give up Sangha and Phala. These are the two things we have to give up. So look at the way how Lord teaches us very beautifully what to give up and what not to give up. Notion I have doing must be given up because that is ego. Every time I keep on, because you see, the problem is the ego, once you try to fulfill it, it never gets satisfied. It's like putting fuel into the fire. The ego is so strong. I have done this. I have become big. I am rich. I am so. I've got so many things. You know that I will never get satisfied. Because if I'm doing it for my sake, this will be a continuous. It is what is called a samsara. And mind gets purified, gets viveka shakti. It gets a power. By following this sattvic lifestyle, it gets a power. And then with this power of discrimination is the first thing which will happen. Because of discrimination, you will be able to withdraw. You'll get vairagyam. You'll get sadhana chatushtayam, which we have seen in Tattvabodha. And then finally, you'll get mumukshutvam. Mumukshutvam means I get a desire to be liberated. Liberated from this sorrow. Many people don't know that, you know, they all suffer, but they don't know how to get rid of their suffering. Here is Bhagavad Gita, which teaches us step by step, very beautifully. If you look at all the 18 chapters, Karma Yoga, Upasana Yoga, Jnana Yoga. Suppose you have not understood the Gita well, go back to it again. Do another round of Bhagavad Gita. Many people, they just keep Gita as their study. You know, they study it throughout the life. Once you have now done it with me, for you to revise Gita on your own is easier. You can just buy a simple book and just read the verses. So, Karma Yoga, the two questions which Arjuna had, what is Tyaga, what is Sannyasa, with reference to Karma Yoga. With reference to Karma Yoga, Tyaga means giving up the results and taking it as a prasad. With reference to Kamya Karma, I renounce. That is what is called as Sannyasa with reference to Karma Yoga. We are not talking about sannyasa lifestyle here, which is a totally different subject matter, which is called as Vidvat Sannyasa, Vividisha Sannyasa. That is, there are two terms which I explained to you last week in the session. Vividisha Sannyasa means you give up everything and then go for a study, like becoming a brahmachari. Vidvat Sannyasa means you give up everything, including the study, and then you are one with the Lord, and just you meditate, I am one with you, O Lord. That is of a Vidvat means somebody who was realized. But here we are talking about Karma Yoga. With reference to Karma Yoga, giving up means Tyaga, renouncing means Sannyasa. What do you renounce? You renounce Kamya Karma, selfish activities. Now, with reference to renunciation, he said there are three types: Sattvika, Rajasika, and Tamasika. Doing duty, Nitya Karma, purifies my mind. Doing Yajna, Dana, Tapas is Sattvik renunciation. Rajasic renunciation is you, because of dukkham, because of pain in the body or fear in the mind, you drop your duties. This is to be avoided. Tamasic giving up is giving up duty because of delusion in the mind. Many a time in the family, you find that the son doesn't listen to the father. Only because of moha. Why should I listen to my father? So this is moha. Similarly, it happens between the husband and the wife also. So whenever such situations come, you try to take this lesson from the Bhagavad Gita and understand your own behavior and correct the behavior. That is the purpose of these teachings. How to drop the ego? This is a big question, and it requires a change in attitude. I am not the doer. Dasa bhava means the Lord is the master in this body. He is the real doer. And the ego I, which we experience every day, I am. You know, that ego is a servant of that Lord who in this body. Ishvara prasada means I have honor or dishonor in life. I have good results, bad results. But I take both of them as prasada. Oh Lord, you have given me some suffering today because it is a part and parcel of the law of karma of this whole universe. You see, the whole universe runs because of law of karma. I understand that perfectly well. Karana bhava, so there are two bhavas. One attitude while doing action is dasa bhava, that I am, the Lord is the master. He has given me this body as a gift for a few years. The second is karana bhava. Karana bhava means I am the karanam, instrument of the Lord. Whatever he wants me to do, I will do it because it is he only who is acting through me. He is the one who empowers this ego to act. This is the attitude. Once I change my attitude, the ego drops, ego comes down, ego gets subdued. It is not taking the center stage of life. Lord is taking the center stage of life. Therefore, what happens? Moksha becomes more meaningful for me. Is there a way to come out of this suffering of identification with the body, which is the ego? The ego in this body taking control of the body and mind and saying it is doing the action, that is what is called as samsara. The Lord is there in this body. I am an instrument of the Lord. That awareness brings me closer to the truth. It will take me higher and higher. You will realize this when you follow these lifestyles. See, most of us, before we come to the Gita, we don't know anything about all this ego or whatever it is, because these are all not a knowledge for me when I start my spiritual science. Before Bhagavad Gita, I didn't know all this. There's so many lessons we have learned from the Gita. Just look back. Chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5, chapter 6 of the meditation. Then the entire how to look at the world as vibhuti of the Lord. How to see that Lord in one consciousness. Then about jnana yoga. How to look at, I mean, so many things we have learned in the Bhagavad Gita. Just look back, it's like a flash. You'll find there's a lot of knowledge I've got. And this knowledge in the intellect helps me to change the values which I have. That is why that is how we get the benefit of the Bhagavad Gita. It is not just hearing and forgetting. It is hearing and munching it, assimilating the knowledge, clearing the doubts. Once you clear the doubts, you find, oh, I can go now deeper. You will find this happening in your own mind. So Karma Yoga is Sattvika Sannyasa, highlighting throughout the Gita. This is what Karma Yoga, if you find, almost every chapter has got a lesson on Karma Yoga. You see some of the verses I've just pulled out and given here. Mai sarvani karmani sannyasya dhatma chetasa nirashir nirmamo bhutva yuddhasva vigatachvaraha. You can read these verses. Just the meaning of these verses itself will tell us how and what we have learned about Karma Yoga. Till identification with the body mind is strong, the mind is called as impure. This is what is the meaning of pure mind and impure. Pure mind means I am very clear about my duty. Impure mind means I am always confused. My mind is always chanchalam. Do, not do, not do. You know, you study your own mind every day, morning to evening. At the end of the day, you try to get an answer for your own self. You will find that slowly you will find that you are in better control of your mind because your buddhi is in command, not your mind. Mind is an oscillating instrument. Buddhi is a decision maker. You know, you take decisions quickly rather than keep on dilly-dallying. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. You know, whether it is for shopping, whether it is for eating something, whether it is for, you know, on our normal day-to-day life also, if we go with the mind, you must try to differentiate this. This is a very useful exercise which is taught in the Panchadasi. It's a text which I'm taking for the Wednesday class. There is a very beautiful exercise they teach us. It says how to identify between the intellect and the mind. Mind always, you remember, is chanchalam, oscillating. And the same mind becomes the buddhi. It is not two separate inner organ. It is not one part, one another part. It is the same mind. Suddenly will take a decision. Yes, I should do it. So try to understand your mind, study your mind. Is the mind dilly-dallying so much, or can I put a stop to it and take a decision? Cultivate the habit of taking a decision more often. Reduce the time of dilly-dallying. You will find that your buddhi becomes stronger and stronger. And when the buddhi becomes stronger, you will find you are more peaceful. The time you are peaceful during a day will expand. The more you take control through the buddhi. And it is possible. This is an exercise, you try it out. It is possible. You will understand the nature of the intellect and the nature of the mind. And the more you understand the nature of the intellect and the mind, you will grow in spirituality. Spiritual path depends on where you're standing at this present. And where you want to go is the same for all of us. We all want peace and happiness. We want to keep our mind peaceful throughout the day. Initially, you may find that you are 90% not peaceful, dilly-dallying, confusion, all that. But if you learn the technique, which I just now explained to you, try it out. If you're having doubts, you can call me, you can send me WhatsApp, I know I can help you correct it. But it is a very beautiful exercise. It will help you a lot in your day-to-day life. Most of us want to start like Arjuna, and therefore we must follow the Karma Yoga lifestyle. Nadvesha kushalam karma kushalena nushajjate tyagi sattva samavishto medhavi chinna samshayah. What happens when you follow the sattvic tyaga? In this beautiful 10th verse, he says, once you follow giving up in a sattvic way, you get purity of mind. And once you get purity of mind, you get viveka, vairagyam, shamadhi, shatka sampatti, mumukshutva. These are the basic qualifications for being a seeker. Then you become a medhavi. Medhavi means you collect the wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita. Chinna samshaya. Chinna samshaya means you clear your doubts. Rise above the expressions of body, senses, and the mind. Your identification. It's possible. Through jnana of Atma, we can go beyond all actions. This is the step-by-step growth of a person who is following a sattvic, tyagi lifestyle. Raja-sik and tamasic we have seen, but here the focus, what Lord Krishna is saying is, if you follow this, you will become pure, your doubts will be cleared, you will not hate you will not hate any action, you will not get attached to any action, and you will give up your action mentally, not physically. You will get the technique. And what is the Viveka Shakti you will gain? The Viveka is between real and unreal. What is real? Atma is real. The power by which I know this body, I know this mind, the power which illumines this body, that Atma is real. What is unreal? Jiva Jagat Ishvara is unreal. Unreal means what? It doesn't have independent existence. So this body doesn't have independent existence. What has independent existence? It is this pure consciousness, the Atma in me. I will be able to realize that Atma one day because of this sattvic tyaga. Because I get a capacity to focus on this Atma. I have faith in the scriptures. There are no more obstacles for me in the spiritual path. Our doubts are all clarified. And I have a personal experience. It is not an experience of an object. It is the experience of the pure I, the subject, the pure Chaitanya, the pure awareness, which has got happiness not as something which is temporary, but its nature is happiness. Anyatra dharma, anyatra dharma, anyatra asmat, krita kritascha, anyatra bhutacha, bhavyacha, yat tat pashyati tatvad. In Kathopanishad, very beautiful Upanishad, a 7-year-old boy is asking Lord Yama, "Oh Lord, teach me what is beyond good and bad, beyond right and unright, beyond cause and effect, beyond past and future times. Is there anything in this world?" This is the question of a 7-year-old boy, and Lord Yama, the death, Lord of death, answers the question to this boy and he says, yes, there is something. Come on, I will teach you. And that is the spiritual truth. And that is what is called as Atma Vidya. So when you have this knowledge, you rise above both punyam and papam. You rise above all actions. And you are not connected with anything which happens at the body-mind level. Whatever has to happen will happen. I have done nothing. Na kartrutvam, na bhoktrutvam. That means the body is an instrument. It is acting based on the law of karma. I don't have any more doubt why I have not done and why I have done this, why I have committed a sin, why I have not done punyam. I don't have any more questions like this because my mind is clear. I have no guilt, no hurt. Guilt comes to us when I don't do something which I'm supposed to do. Hurt comes to us when I do something which I should not have done. A jnani, realized person, rises above all this. He is yet in utter ease and inner peace, total relaxation. He does the duty diligently with karma phala tyaga. Freedom is costly, but we have to pay the price of discipline. This is what we learn in the Bhagavad Gita. So today we have finished 10 verses, 1 to 10. Next week we will start. These are verses which are quite easy to understand. Therefore, I'm going a little faster. 78 verses are there. We will try and finish in about 10 sessions, 10 to 12 sessions. Some verses needs more attention. I will be going slow in those verses, but some which are more of this type, which are quite easy to understand. So next week we'll start with the 11th verse and we'll continue. In case you have any questions, you can ask me. I will finish this talk and then you can ask me questions, yeah? Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachade Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyade. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Okay. Malati is, yes, okay, let me just go through that. I'm not seeing some slides, needs to change the slide. Okay, can you unmute us? Not work. Yes, it's just our ego. Yeah, Malati is saying that it is our ego which is telling us, I am meditating, I'm not doing. Yes, you're right. It's all the mind. It's absolutely, you're right, Malati. It is a play of mind. And we must understand it as a play of mind. Very good realization you have on what is happening in your mind. Good. I'm very happy to see this. Okay, any questions from others? If you want to ask, I will ask Shanmugam to unmute now so that you can ask your questions.
Namaste, Shekharji.
Yeah.
Yes, as you said, it is only play of mind.
Yes.
I am doing so many things. I am doing this. I am doing that. I am achieving this. I am a jnana, I am a seeker.
Correct.
These all are just play of mind.
Yes.
That's why I stopped everything to repent on anything,
yes,
or to grieve on anything, and just watching the process.
Very good. I'm very, very happy. After 1 week, to realize after 4 days, to get this answer from you is very, very, I'm very happy to listen to that. I'm glad that strength of mind has come back to you. Well done.
Yes. And today you said one sentence also. Whatever happens, it will happen.
Yes.
We cannot force it to stop, or we cannot force it to happen also. It will happen in our life.
Yes.
So just keep on watching. That's all.
Just be a sakshi to whatever happens and take life as it comes. That is the only lesson which I have learned from the Bhagavad Gita. Just take it as a sakshi bhava. The attitude is, oh Lord, you have given me this happiness today, I accept. You have given me this sadness today, I accept. If we don't accept it and we go against that acceptance and we fight and say why, it causes more pain to our own mind and we lose our focus. Okay, very good. Shamai, yeah, you have something?
Namaste. No, just reflecting on Malati's question about the acceptance. Could we translate this as one of the Shat Sampati, the titiksha or forbearance, even for our own spiritual practice? You can't predetermine the outcome, that today I'm here, tomorrow I must be there. You know, it is a process. And so the awareness is, or the Sakshi Bhava is perhaps the best best attitude perhaps to be content with, that I am steadily doing my spiritual practice, and how and what up and down will happen, even in the spiritual field, I have to accept it.
Perfect, absolutely right. Because this is a very, very important lesson to all of us in the spiritual field. See, the main thing we should understand is there are two factors in our life. One is an awareness, consciousness principle. That is, in this body, there are two factors: consciousness, awareness. The second factor is the ego, which is doing actions, thinking that it is doing, which is a shadow. It is not real. This fact it is a fact, I only accept it today, but I have to test it out throughout my life. The day when I say, like today Malati is saying, it is the mind which is the shadow which is playing out, that is the day for celebration for her.
Yeah.
Because she has understood her nature.
Yeah.
If any time you understand your nature as the pure awareness and not the ego, that is the Diwali for you. That is the celebration, and that is our real joy. Yeah. The Bhagavad Gita has given me the blessing to understand the truth of life, because this is the teaching which the Lord is, which is what we are waiting for. This is the illumination in our intellect, for which we are waiting for it for so many days and months, and I'm studying and studying. All the result of the study is only for this. There's nothing else beyond this. So I'm glad you pointed out, and also I'm glad that Malati has realized some very basic lessons in life. Okay, good. Anybody else has a question?
Also, I like the way that I did not know this, but I just want to reiterate so that I know my understanding is clear. I used to always think of sannyasa, the meaning of sannyasa is different, but today you've enlightened that the tyaga and the sannyasa, which is being used in the 18th chapter, it refers to the process of the karma yoga.
Yes, this is a very, very
not
important.
Not the vidivat and not that sannyasa.
Not the vidivat and vividisha sannyasa. So this was taught by Swami Advayananda in his Master Gita, Master Life Gita course, where he said that this is the way you study this chapter about sannyasa. So he clarified this doubt. And he
very
said,
interesting.
Otherwise, we all get very confused. What is sannyasa and what is tyaga? What is, why is, if you have this understanding that he's talking about karma yoga, sannyasa, with reference to karma yoga, what is prasada buddhi, what is tyaga, then it makes sense. All these verses, the 10 verses, otherwise you will be utterly confused.
True, very true.
So this has come, this is something which I've learned from that Swamiji. So It is otherwise this 18th chapter is confusing if you don't have this understanding of sannyasa and tyaga.
And just one more question relating to tyaga and sannyasa. Again, I just want to ask whether tyaga relates more to an action that I practice detachment. So that is the tyaga. What do I give up? I give up this wrong identification with my body and mind. That is what I want to give up, isn't it? Like giving up. What shall I give up? So that is tyaga. And sannyasa is the state of mind which is constantly trying to take us, draw us nearer and nearer to our true nature, you know, where I can often see myself in my state of sakshi bhava. And to me, it looks like then my mind is in a state of sannyasa. No, it's not that.
Okay. See, the way I would look at it is, I explained to you that that when you're talking up to a level of, when you're taking the level of action, at the level of action, you can follow tyaga. That means I do not give up daily duty. I do not give up yajna dana tapa. This is what is tyaga at the level of action.
Mm-hmm.
When you consider sannyasa, I have taught you another in between. I taught about what is mind and buddhi, intellect and mind. Sannyasa, when you consider, you take it at the mental level.
Mm-hmm.
At the mental level, whenever your mind is lost in the world, you try to bring it back, give up that mind and bring it to the level of buddhi. That is what is called as sannyasa. You give up the mind, the activity of the mind which draws you into the world and oscillates your mind, gives disturbance to your mind, doesn't give you peace of mind. You withdraw from that.
Mm-hmm.
Mentally, you withdraw from that. It is possible. In the 3rd chapter of the Panchadasi, the technique will be explained by Swami Vidyaranya.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he explains this technique beautifully. I'm just explaining to you that in a very simple way, that every time you observe your mind with a sakshi bhava, you will find these two happening throughout your day. Throughout the day, the mind will be either tossing up and down, oscillating. I do this, I don't do this, I do this, I don't do this. Immediately, then in the same mind becomes a buddhi and becomes it becomes the decision maker. I want to go to India, I don't want to go to India, I want to go to India, I don't want to. But suddenly you say, no, I'm booked my flight. I'm going on 10th, that's it. Now, this is the way the mind, you withdraw, this is called a sannyasa at the mental level. You withdraw from the mind oscillating and bring it to the level of buddhi. From the level of buddhi, once, you see, buddhi, in the 3rd chapter of Panchadasi, it again says this, that the reflection of consciousness is there in the buddhi, but it is not in the mind, at the mind level. Because the thoughts have to become firm for the reflection of consciousness. Like you need a proper mirror so that you can see your face. Suppose the mirror is moving, you cannot see your face. So when the mirror is moving means it has become the mind. It has become chanchalam.
Mm-hmm.
The moment it becomes firm and it becomes buddhi, then you are more conscious of your own self. That reflection of self is seen in the buddhi, not in the mind.
So can I translate this sannyasa therefore in terms
Yes.
of daily practice in my meditation, like you enter the temple. So it's almost like the doors, the main gate is, that is there. Then you enter the next step. So I've moved away from the objects, then to the sensory organs, then to the mind level, and then you're going further deeper into the shrine.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So it is almost like you're actually doing that whole mental exercise.
Yes, you are right.
Of as if you're moving into the temple of your shrine.
Correct.
Atman.
Yes. That is why there is a beautiful stotram of Shankaracharya, Shiva Manasa Stotram. Have you heard of that stotram?
No.
Where Shiva Manasa Stotram, it is where there are verses where it says, Shankaracharya says, that Shiva Linga, which is outside, is not outside, but it is in my heart. And I see that Shiva Linga in my heart, and I pray to that Shiva Linga. And by doing this, what happens? You have withdrawn. You have done sannyasa of the external world, sannyasa of all of the thoughts, and you have gone to the inner shrine and seeing the Shiva inside you. That Shiva which is inside you, now you have become clear on that. When that shines in your heart, that is the day of realization. You have become one with that Shiva Linga, and that is your puja of your day.
Sattvam Sanshuddhi.
Yes.
Shekhar, are you talking about Ratnaihi Ma Sitahima Jalaihi?
Yes. Perfect. Yes, that's the correct one. Yes. You can send that link to Shama. She will enjoy this.
Yes.
Okay, that's a very beautiful mantra. You can just send her that later on. You can send it to her. Okay, good. Anybody else has a question?
Mr. Shekhar.
Yes, Jacqueline.
Just now you were saying that decision, right? So in fact, whether yes, no, and then yes, go to India. In fact, it is illuminated by the consciousness. Okay, you go, right?
Yes, the light of consciousness is illuminating the intellect, and intellect then takes a decision, go.
Yeah, so as a human, we use the word decision, but in the actual fact, it is the pure consciousness that is asking us to go.
Yes, ultimately it is a consciousness which is illuminating everything in life.
Yeah, so
always you say that it is the consciousness which is illuminating my thoughts, and the thoughts, when they are taking a decision, it is called as intellect. When it is in oscillating mode, it is called as mind. Then I have emotions, it is called as the mind. The same mind, when it takes the decision, it becomes the intellect. I have to learn to live as the intellect more and more in my life, and drop being the mind more and more. That is called as withdrawal, that is called as renunciation, it's called as sannyasa.
All right, so inside the intellect is the pure consciousness, right?
Yes, it is shining there. It is always there. It is never changing. The intellect itself goes to sleep, but the consciousness never sleeps. That consciousness I own it up, and I claim as my swarupa, as my nature. That is a slightly higher level. That is what we will be studying in the Panchadasi. And that is that conscious. You have to reach that level first. From the mind, go to the intellect level. From the intellect level, you have to go beyond the intellect and say, who is illuminating these thoughts? Thoughts are continuously happening for billions of people, for you, for me. But there is only one consciousness, which is ever there, like the sunlight.
Yeah, amazing.
Present, it is ever present. You see, today, when I am looking at the world of objects, I ignore this light. When I'm looking at my own selfish enjoyments, I ignore the light of consciousness. But by the study of the scriptures, the consciousness is revealed to me as my own nature. And therefore, what happens is I lose identification with the body, mind, intellect, and the world. This is the process which is called as who am I understanding. Your question was who am I, but it has got to go to this level of understanding. That I am the pure light. You see, the more you live a life of the intellect, the more you will get an inner urge. How this intellect is, who is in this intellect which is acting as though it is life itself. Then you will see there is a separate, it is not the ego, it is the light of Atma.
Okay, appreciate, yes.
Okay, good. Anything else? Anybody? Yeah, but
the mind and the intellect are the two sides of the same coin, and just because the mind is oscillating and it is not firming up, we are seeing that we have not made a firm decision. So intellect has not made decision. But in order to jump to such a state, that is not possible for us to do. Whereas we have to experience that oscillation mind, and we have to transcend that with the help of the bhakti as well as the tapas. Rather than trying to say that just because a decision has to be made, I will stick to one of that and then jump from the oscillating mind to the firm intellect. I don't think that is possible, right? So I think we have to go through the experience of the oscillation, and then we throw the bhakti, we have to transcend it, correct?
okay. You see, you are taking one more extra step in between the final decision, and you're taking one extra step in between, which is called as bhakti or Ishvara Bhavana, which is Karma Yoga Bhavana, which is correct. The sense that, even just in the last 10 verses, we said it is the Lord who has given me the strength. It is the Lord which is helping me. It is, I surrender to that Lord. And so that is one step before the final realization of the light of consciousness.
Yep.
So you're right. You use that step. You use that also one of the crutches before you understand that there is one, that Lord is inside me. That will come to us very soon. Once we have taken this step, there is bhakti. That is what is called as Karma Yoga Bhavan.
Okay, thank you.
Ishvara is there in my, I am doing it everything. It's Ishvara under control. I am the instrument. Ishvara is the controller. Let Ishvara take the decision for me, and then I will, whatever happens in my life is all not my own effort, but there is a power of the controller of the whole universe is the one, and that is what we call it as Karma Phala Data. You see, the giver of the fruits of action based on our own past actions of Punyam and Papam is that Ishvara. And that comes as an expression in our own mind as thoughts. You and I cannot control our thoughts because it is the law of karma which controls the law of thoughts. You may try your best, but it just happens. And then what you say, I have experienced this, but it is not me. I am the pure consciousness, and the Lord himself is teaching me that this is the way to understand the life. As it comes, take it. Take the life as a prasad, and your understanding is right, but so there is nothing else there.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else has a question? Yeah, tell me. I can't hear you clearly. What is it? Can you type your question on the chat box? Because there's an echo coming. Anybody else has any question before that?
Shekaji, good evening. This is Uma here.
Yeah, Uma, you're telling.
Okay, Shekaji, I'm not sure if I'm repeating what Bart said, but what I was thinking is the very question why this is happening to me, why I'm going through all this, is what has brought you to me, Shekaji. That's a point. Quite recently, 3 years back, I was very down, and every day I was asking this question: what's happening? Why is this happening? There should be something, and that's when Jacqueline called to me. So I feel that it's the very search for this, the need for, to feel better, for the peace and all that brought you to me. So there is a stage where we go through these questions of why before the answer comes as a guru like you.
Yeah, correct. It's good. What you're saying is what Bhatt is also saying, that there is a law in this world, which is controlling our actions, and we don't know this law because it is invisible. It is adrishtam. Nobody knows this. Tomorrow, what's going to happen to me, I don't know. What thoughts I'm going to get, I don't know. What experiences I'm going to get, I don't know. So basically, it is the law of karma brings us experiences every day in our life. We go through, what you are saying is, due to some past punyam, we all come to study the Bhagavad Gita. You see, we are all studying this text together, and we are learning the Gita, how to use the Gita, and how to use it to run our life. You see, ultimately, Gita is what we listen every week, 1.5 hours, 1 hour, is for improving our lives. And many people have got the benefit. So what you're saying is very, very true, Uma. I appreciate your comment on this.
Okay, thank you, Shekaji.
I want to know Nishiddha karma and Kamya karma. Okay, Kamya karma, I'll take up Nishiddha karma first. Nishiddha karma means I'm not supposed to do certain actions in life. So I don't do those actions. For example, I am not supposed to I'm not supposed to smoke, I'm not supposed to drink, I'm not supposed to eat non-veg, I'm not supposed to do so many things the scriptures tell me. Slowly, it's not that you can give up all this very fast. Slowly I learn, step by step, I try to drop. So Nishiddha karma means karma which is prohibited by scriptures. Then what is Kamya karma and what is Nitya karma and what is Naimittika karma? Kamya karma means selfish actions. Selfish actions means I do it purely for my own pleasure, not even my family's pleasure. I like doing it. It's like an entertainment for me. I do it. This is where the Lord wants you to be careful. Nitya karma and Naimittika karma, which Bhatt has said, is you should never give up. Nitya karma means I do my puja, I do my sandhya vandanam, I do whatever prayer, some small japa, some small things which I can do, I do. That is Nitya karma. Naimitya karma means attending to certain rituals in our own life. Some samskaras we are supposed to follow. My son's marriage, I have to conduct. I have to do certain rituals of whatever comes in my life. Marriage, thread ceremony. It can be so many different samskaras. There are 33 different samskaras which are there. You can Google it and you will find out. Now, Naimitya karma is this special duties, okay? Nitya karma, I told you. Kamya karma is where we have to be careful and reduce it slowly. Overnight, you cannot reduce all your desires. You cannot bring and say that from tomorrow I will not do it. It is a gradual process. And how do you tackle this kamya karma is through karma yoga. And karma yoga, you should always remember only two things. That I am not the doer of actions. There is a power in me which is the actual doer. And that is the first aspect, which is called as Ishvara Arpana Buddhi. I don't do it. I surrender the actions to the Lord who is in control of this body. Even breathing. I am not breathing. There is some power which is keeping this body alive. So I surrender to that action. So whatever the body is acting, how can I say it is my action? How can I say that I am acting in the body? This is what Lord Krishna is teaching us. Even the breath is not under our control. Even the digestion of food is not under my control. But the ego keeps on saying, I all the time. So that is where you have to learn to understand and drop that ego. And then that is one part of karma yoga. The second is whatever experiences I get in my life, I accept it. Whatever it may be. At my family level, at the society level, at the national level, at the environmental level, whatever I get as an experience today, every day you should just take it as a fresh day. Yesterday is gone, finished. I forget about yesterday. Don't keep on thinking yesterday I was bad, I was bad, I was bad. Today, you don't waste your energy of yesterday because that is gone. It is all, there's no use thinking about it. Tomorrow is yet to come. So there is no use too much spending time beyond the future. You should plan, no doubt. But keep on brooding over the future is again no use because it's only anxiety. Is it what's going to happen to me? What's going to happen to my children? What's going to happen to my company? What's going to happen to my house? Stop all this rumblings in your mind. Focus on right now, today. I want to be happy. I drop my attitude of oscillating mind. I remain focused. I learn the Bhagavad Gita. I learn to remain as close as possible to the Gita way of life. So the central theme of this whole Gita is Karma Yoga, and I must accept both these cardinal principles and live life. Okay, anything else? Okay, if not, then we will stop for the day, and then we'll continue this next week. Very beautiful verses will come. We are going to study what is the action, how does action takes place, and all that. Thank you and good night.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.
good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shikhaji. Good night.
Thank you, Umar.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Thank you.